Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to do a little, maybe call it post unboxing, because it's really hard since I don't have anyone else to help me with it. I can't like unbox it and have someone else hold the camera, so I unboxed it, and it's not like that's super exciting. But I recently sold my TV because I was moving back to my home state, Wisconsin, from Virginia, so that's like 800 miles, and I had to drive back about 13, 14 hours or whatever. So I didn't want to carry a 32-inch TV, and it was just a like a 4-year-old Element, So it was a decent TV. I was happy with it. If I didn't have to sell it, I probably wouldn't have. But I ended up selling it for 130 bucks. My brother came up here and ordered this from Amazon for 160, but then it has a rebate for 20, so I'll get 140. I got the Asus VH236H, which is a 23-inch monitor. And this was apparently one of the ones that they used on the MLG Pro circuit, because I figured since I didn't have a TV or slash monitor, for gaming, I should, check around to see what's, a better monitor, rather than just going out and buying a TV that looked decent enough to play, or, okay, this is an HD TV, I'll buy this. Especially, I was willing to spend, a little bit more if I needed to, up to 200 to 250 or whatever. But, so I figured, hey, what did MLG Pro Circuit use? And this was one of them. I was going to get the current one, the BenQ, but the BenQ, they wanted 220 for it. And since this was it'll end up being 140 for me. I figured, most people said that the specs are the same. So I figured I'd get this one. I figured I'd get the least expensive one. It's Asus, or I guess you could call it Asus, or I don't really know how to pronounce the brand, but I know it's a good brand, and I really haven't seen much from BenQ, and I know Pro Circuit has used a lot of various monitors, Samsung as well, and ViewSonic, which I would at least like to think most people haven't heard of that brand. I've heard somewhat of it. So anyway, I don't really see how there's much to show, as, it'd be nice if I could have these monitors side by side if I had a ton of money and I could just, line them all up and see what's better, and had a bunch of Xboxes. But I don't. I could definitely say that this has obviously it has a 20,000 to 1 contrast ratio. I know the BenQ, it says it's like 12 million to 1. It's like dynamic contrast ratio, some fancy word. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And some people on MLG forums said that it literally is, it's just kind of a gimmick, marketing, kind of marketing quote scam or something. So they said it's mainly the same thing. You look for the standard contrast ratio. It's 23 inches, full 1080p, 2 millisecond response rate. Other than that, it's HDMI, VGA, DVI inputs. Again, I would have bought a TV, but I never used my TV in the 4 years that I owned it as a TV. I never plugged it into my wall. I just simply played video games. I never did anything else. Otherwise, I watch shows on Netflix, or I don't really use TV like most people would. But the one thing I do like, though, is it has a dedicated input button, so you can just switch between I don't know what it's doing. There it goes. Takes a second to switch between them. But yeah, you can switch like any other TV instead of going through a complicated menu or something. Aside from, it has a normal menu like most other monitors have, which it's kind of complicated or kind of, fussy of, how to navigate. But at least it kind of got down that, people want to change the input frequently. I also kind of like, this will be handy for later, is it gave me extra set of VGA, or want to call, I guess, trying to think what a D sub, and DVI cables. So, and then obviously almost always another power cable. So, but I figured that was kind of nice because usually those go for $5 or $10 a piece. So that's, perhaps it might have lowered the cost if they would have, cut them out of there. But again, they're always nice to have. Aside from that, nothing else really exciting came with it. But I can say, I actually haven't played any matches on it, but quite honestly, unless I was able to pair them up next to other monitors, it looks as good or probably better. I have a Acer over there, 20-inch, Obviously, and actually, I should also notice this has built-in speakers if you can't hear, and the sound quality on them is actually pretty decent. So that'll be kind of nice if I ever have to lug this somewhere. I won't always have to use my headphones, which obviously my headphones are great, but if I don't want to have to wear them or I want to play with other friends, which there are a few friends' houses I will go to that, kind of isolate yourself when you wear your Astros or other, big headphones like those. It's kind of hard to see them since they blend in. But it just seems like, like for instance, that monitor, colors seem washed out, and that might be due to the low contrast ratio, like 1,000 to 1. So this definitely seems to have deeper colors. It has like 6 or 7 preset modes you would switch between. Like you can see how game mode is more washed out, brighter. I don't really like that. Compared to that from what you can see on my iPhone. But yeah, and obviously the 5 to 2 millisecond response rate, like 3 milliseconds, well, what's that going to matter? I believe that's probably, obviously you can't visibly see it, but, for very fast action stuff like Halo or, racing games or things that, or like, I don't know what you call them, music games or, Guitar Hero, for instance, that really does count. So I guess it'll just be, I don't know, subconscious or whatever you would say, that it'd be a subtle difference, or, it'll really help, but you're not actively acknowledging it. Certain things you're kind of just like, man, I feel off, but I don't know what it is. It's that few milliseconds that you're getting delayed. So, I don't know. I figure $140, and every month I get like 12 to $16 from Machinima, so, that's a lot of money, woohoo. So I figure I put that into it, so I'm paying less than 130. I'm paying I got like 16, so like 125 or something if I can math right. So it's not. I'm pretty happy with the monitor. Honestly, if you were looking for a gaming monitor of sorts, it weighs 16.5 pounds because I saw it was being shipped from Amazon, and I'm like, whoa, that only weighs like 8 pounds. But maybe with the added 3 inches and speakers, it just happens to weigh more. Perhaps it's obviously got better quality. It's much better of a monitor. Maybe that's what adds to the weight. But it definitely is considerably solid and just pretty nice. And speaking of shipping, I ordered it on Sunday. It got here today on Wednesday, and I got the Super Saver whatever shipping that was 5 to 8 days. It got here in 3 business days, so I was really happy with that. And actually they were going to charge me like $18 for shipping, so that really was nice. And I was actually slightly considering changing the shipping to like standard 3 to 5 because I thought it would it wouldn't get here until after Christmas. Well, they really did a good job. So I don't really go with Amazon a whole lot, but I'm pretty pleased. And if you're looking for a gaming monitor, I'll put the link to where I got it in the description. The rebate for this goes through the 31st. If you buy it within that time frame, you get it for $140. And I believe shipping should just be free on items like this all the time. So it's a good monitor. Otherwise, I actually linked the BenQ as well. It's $220. They claim it's $550, which I absolutely just laugh at. It's kind of pathetic for them trying to say, yeah, it was originally $550, not for a 24-inch monitor. No, thank you. But of course they tout it's the MLG Pro Circuit monitor, so here these guys, Asus doesn't at all, which would probably help their sales a little bit if they mentioned, it was used. But I believe there are some other monitors, if you search around for like, MLG Pro Circuit monitors or whatever. I think there's some Samsung, LG, ViewSonic had some, but they're all pretty similar. If you just check the contrast ratio, your response rate, your, maybe I don't know if the aspect ratio would ever change. Obviously 720p versus 1080p if it went from that. They all should be pretty similar. Just check the specs. And obviously I believe dynamic contrast ratio, I don't know much about it. I don't know what the difference is. But as far as I know, I was told it was a gimmick. So look at the contrast ratio. This was 20,000 to 1 and it looks great. Because I think they said anything higher is like, not noticeable or whatever. And obviously 2 milliseconds response rate is should just be a standard. So anyway, hopefully you found this helpful, as I'm definitely very happy with this monitor. So anyway guys, peace out.